Thank you, everybody. I'd like to introduce John DeWitt. He is head of the Physical Sports Therapy Department at the Ohio State University. And he's here to tell us, I hope, what we can do so we can all live longer and healthier. Without further ado, John.
Mick, thank you very much. I really appreciate the offer. I was just planning on eating a ham sandwich for lunch today. This is way better than that. So the food is great, and it's amazing to see everybody so involved in the Rotary Club. So I did a little investigating. I'm a clinical researcher at Ohio State as well as some of the other hats that I wear. And so I went to the foremost authority of our research databases, Wikipedia, to get a little bit better understanding of who the Rotary Cup, the Rotary Cup that I work with, the Rotary Club is and what you guys are all about. I was pretty amazed. But before we start, just to let you know, if you go in to see your physical therapist or you're talking to your physician, because it's going to be a little bit confusing with the wordplay since this is the club that you're a part of, the rotator cuff, which is a group of muscles that are in your shoulder, it's the rotator cuff, not the rotary cup, which is what we hear about a lot. So I talk to my parents, they always talk to me about the Rotary Cup, and I convince them that it's something different. So, but I know I'm honored to be here, and it's a pleasure to see everyone. So, in doing a little research, I found that the Rotary Club was founded in 1905 in Illinois. Anybody know where the first chapter was located? That's right. The headquarters in Evanston, Illinois. The first club met in North Carolina. Now, if that's wrong, you can blame Wikipedia on that one. Dublin Worthington Club was founded here in 1974. Is that correct? Yeah. That's the year of my birth. Great things happened in 1974. And going back to 1905, the Rotary Club has been instrumental in doling out a tremendous amount of funding for scholarships, polio, I don't need to tell you guys this, and hosting a lot of foreign exchange students. But do you know what the very first project was in Chicago? Yes, sir. It was a toilet. You better believe it. Look at that. Now, these are some updated toilets. I think the toilets they put in decades ago are probably not this fancy, but appreciate the Rotary Club's efforts in trying to keep Chicago clean, and the rest of America for that matter. That seems like an oxymoron, Chicago and clean, I guess, right?
We should take on D.C.
Yeah, I was just in D.C. this past weekend, and there is a lot of. Is anybody familiar with the House of Cards series? Woo. If that's halfway through, we're all in trouble. It's a big B. Anyway, there's a lot of letters behind my name. Though, reading a lot, the more letters you have behind your name, the less self-confidence you have. So it's probably why they're all there. It's like alphabet soup. I hail from Paulding, Ohio. If anybody knows where that's at, it's right up there. You better believe it. Ohio. Yeah. So that's my high school picture right there, Joe Dirt. Nice mullet. So if you live anywhere in the 419 area code, we're neighbors. 419 is all the way up here. It's like the entire quarter of Ohio. But I did grow up in Ohio. There's, it's a county. Everybody forgets that Paulding's a county too. It's one of the 88 counties, and nobody seems to remember where it is. But if you've ever watched Children of the Corn, which is a 1980 horror classic, that's pretty much what Paulding, Ohio is. A lot of flat corn, and now there's probably about 1,000 windmills up there. So that's where my roots are. But this is where I work right now. I'll tell you a little bit more about my training here in a second, but as you all know, this is Mr. Les Wexner. That's where he donated a mere $100 million to get his name on the medical center. And as you know, his other project is Victoria's Secret Women Brands, Bath and Body Works. And that's a lot of ladies' undergarments to sell to be able to donate $100 million, but that's certainly what he did. And so we're proud of that. So we'll put anybody's name on there. If you didn't hear, I was walking. He's not rude. I was walking past our James Cancer Hospital, and I saw they just put up the sign for the emergency department. Did anybody hear the new emergency department? The James Cancer Hospital is going to be. Who got the naming rights? The same one they had naming rights for Children's Hospital. It's the Abercrombie and Fitch Emergency Department. So if you ever gone to Abercrombie and Fitch's website, there's going to be a bunch of well, clean-cut, skinny, very muscular men with their shirts off. They're going to be manning that emergency department. So I just want to give you a heads up in case you ever find yourself there. But so like I said, we'll put anybody's name on there for a little bit of money, but we're certainly appreciative of all their efforts. This is what it looked like about a year ago. It looked a little industrialistic when I was walking to work. This is what it looks like almost right now. This is probably a couple of months ago, but the James Cancer Hospital, which I don't work in this facility, I'm on the outpatient side, is going to be a state-of-the-art, world-renowned facility that's bringing the brightest and the best physicians, researchers, and nurses from all over the country. So it's going to be exciting to see what they can do. And before Dr. D left Ohio State, he was truly passionate and believed that we were going to cure the cancer in the United States here at Ohio State, and I guarantee you that's going to happen in the future with this initiative. So I get a little schizophrenic in my job titles. I wear a lot of different hats. I have a lot of different positions. I have 2 bosses. I have 2 offices. So nobody sees me all day, which means that they think I'm at home. I kind of am like the mayor of sports medicine, and at the division of physical therapy, I kind of shake hands and talk to people, and as soon as anyone starts to ask questions, I just leave and go to my other office. But I am the manager at OSU Sports Med. I'm a physical therapist, so I see a lot of folks, and Mick was one of them, and so he's limping a little bit, which means I wasn't doing as good of a job as I probably could. That's a different injury, but I'm happy to answer anybody's questions about physical therapy. We're not physical terrorists. We're physical therapists. We're fairly nice. And if you, I also teach over at the School of Physical Therapy, an assistant clinical professor there, and I direct all of our residency and fellowship programs, which is a new initiative for training for physical therapists. We have more residency and fellowship training programs than any other university in the country, so I'm really proud of that. So if you want to know what I do, just put your hands up in the air, both your hands. Put both your hands up in the air. And if I can't see both your hands, you probably have rotator cuff tear, and I'll talk to you later. Keep them up, keep them up. You're going to work on muscle endurance. Now just slide your arms to the side on both sides, okay? Now put your arms behind the person sitting next to you, okay? All right? Put it behind. And now just start rubbing just a little bit. Rub the back a little bit, all right? If you feel uncomfortable with that, you should never become a physical therapist. It's not that we do all that. So we are very handsy. If I talk to you, I put my hand on your back. It's just professional courtesy. That's it. I get kind of desensitized when I'm talking to people because I'm always touching. So I have to remind myself of that. So just give me a signal if I get too close and personal. Yes, sir.
How do you relate to Dodd Hall?
How do I relate to Dodd Hall? Do I run it in this room? From this room, I will run it. No, I do not run Dodd Hall. Dodd Hall is our inpatient rehab facility, and so that's where a lot of our neurologic patients go: spinal cord injury, traumatic brain injury, and stroke. And so we have physicians, researchers, and physical therapists that will work with patients in that inpatient facility. So usually, let's just say somebody has a spinal cord injury, they will go to inpatient at the main hospital, and once they are stable, they are either discharged to home, or they need more intensive services. They'll require PT, OT, speech, medicine. They'll send them to Dodd. And usually they're in Dodd. They have to qualify to get in Dodd. They have to be able to. This is pretty amazing. They have to be able to tolerate physical therapy 3 hours a day. Well, they're not a lot of people can. And they get physical therapy throughout the day, a couple times a day, and OT and speech as well. So they're doing some amazing stuff in Dodd Hall. Just to digress a little bit, Christopher Reeves, old Superman, the Christopher Reeves Foundation supports the Neuro Recovery Network, which is a group of academic medical centers throughout the country, and Ohio State is one of those. They take partial spinal cord injury patients that are bound in a wheelchair, and they do body-supported treadmill training with them. So they put them in a harness, they put them on a very fancy, expensive treadmill, and they have a number of folks, a couple therapists, a couple techs, who actually move their legs for them, and they go through a 12-week walking program, and the goal is to get them more functional and get them to ambulate again, get them to walk again. You can't do that with a full spinal cord injury patient. The nerves don't grow back yet. we're working on that right now. But some pretty amazing stuff they do in DOD. So that's DOD rehab. I'm on the outpatient side. I'm in sports medicine. So the only relationship that from a patient standpoint that I have with DOD was that they had a traumatic brain injury or they had a concussion. Then we'll work with those athletes. Certainly concussion is a big issue in sports, so we do a lot of work with our athletes on that. So my training, I went to Ohio University, best 5 years of my life. I didn't go that 5th year because I was forced to, but I didn't really know what I wanted to do, and I like TV, so I figured I'd go to TCOM, telecommunications, without really understanding what that even meant. I quickly realized that wasn't the course for me, and so you have to enter as a freshman into the athletic training program. So I went an extra year, but actually was instrumental in helping me to open some doors. Once I finished OU, then I worked for a period of time in Boston before going to Belmont University. This is in Nashville, Tennessee. Not a bad place to spend 3 years to get your doctorate degree. I was looking at Belmont University in Cleveland State. I visited both programs in winter. It was 30 degrees in Cleveland. There was no windows in the building I was interviewing in. I went to Belmont, and it was about 50 degrees in the wintertime. It was overlooking downtown, and all I could hear was country music and smell great barbecue. And so I chose Belmont University, and it was a really incredible program. And then swore to myself once I left Nashville, Tennessee, that I would never move to a small town again because that's where I was from. And I ended up taking a job in Cambridge, Ohio for 4 years. But that was an incredible experience, and actually brought me to Ohio State. So between OSU or Ohio University and Belmont, I worked for the New England Patriots for 2 years. Not as a water boy, I was actually an athletic trainer. We always get called water boys, and each of us has either 1 or 2 degrees between us out there in the field. So we're trying to dismiss that assumption. That's all we do. Even though I have a water bottle in my hand, and I was actually hiding it in the towel because I knew the photographer. I said, "Can you give me one picture of me not holding a water bottle?" And so he said, "You put it in the towel, and I'll take a picture." So this is me and Adam Terry talking about his kicking prowess. I was doing it from 1996, 1998. Incredible athletes. You think about some of these professional athletes, and you're kind of starstruck when you first meet them. It takes exactly 2 weeks to get over that, and then they're like everybody else. And so, do you remember who the first round draft pick was for the New England Patriots in 1996? It was a local kid here. I'll say Buckeye. No, Vrabel, I think it was still in high school. Terry Glenn, yes. So Terry Glenn went to Brookhaven High School, was a walk-on. So I was like, damn, a scholarship, and ended up winning the Bolitnikoff Award as the top receiver in the country. It's absolutely incredible. In a period of 3 years. So Terry was drafted, and there was a lot of guys from Ohio State. Tom Tuba was a member. Roger Williams, Keith Byers, who I admired, but always took way too long getting out of the training room, so I didn't like him anymore because he made us stay late. But Keith Byers was there. And a lot of coaches. Bo Pelini was used to run on the treadmill with Bo Pelini all the time, and he seemed like a really nice guy. When something happened, now he's just goes schizo on the sidelines. He's a very temperamental guy. But I'll tell you a quick story about Terry Glenn. Terry had a rough time with Bill Parcells, who was the head coach. When Terry got his first paycheck, he get his first paycheck after 2 weeks in training camp. And let me tell you what training camp means. Training camp means, for me, waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning, walking around with a coach, banging on doors, telling guys they have to take a random urine sample in the morning. So you're trying to wake up a 350-pound lineman at 5 o'clock in the morning that he has to pee in a cup. You think they're happy about that? Absolutely not. I was smaller than I am now. I hit growth spurt about 3 years ago, so I was only about 4'11". You get up, you get a light breakfast, you go in, you start doing treatments. You do your first guys are in meetings, you do treatments, you go out to practice, you come back in, you do treatments, you eat a peanut butter jelly sandwich, you come back, you do treatments, they go out for the second practice, you come back in, you do treatments, you go to dinner, you eat a peanut butter jelly sandwich, you go over to your dorm room, you sleep for 10 minutes, then you do treatments until 10 o'clock at night. So it's 5 in the morning, 10 o'clock at night, and you do that 7 days a week. You do that for 4 weeks, and then you get a break, and you only have to work 12-hour days after that. for 7 days a week on Thanksgiving and on Christmas. So great experience, but I would much rather be talking to you today than being on the field. I can guarantee you that. So I give all the front office staff, the sports medicine staff and players and coaches a heck of a lot of credit. They do a lot of work. But anyway, when Terry Glenn came in, we got our paychecks, and I looked at my paycheck, and I looked at Terry's paycheck, and it was exactly the same numbers on there. Mine said 200, and his said 200,000. And I was looking at this kid that came up from nothing, and he was staring at it, and it was absolutely incredible what that meant to him, what that meant to his family. But it was a little bit of a disparity. Just because I was in the NFL doesn't mean I was making that salary, so for sure. But it definitely allowed me to earn my stripes, and it was a good experience. I also got a chance to travel with the team, which is probably the only time athletic trainers got a chance to rest. And our last 3 games in the 1997 season were in Florida. So we played Tampa Bay, Jacksonville, and Miami, which is nice because Boston, Foxborough in December is not very good. So we're out playing Monday Night Football, and I'm in the Joe Robbie Stadium where the Dolphins are. I'm standing at the 50-yard line watching our team practice and trying to hide up my water bottle. And the Dolphins are behind me, and I'm watching all the fans come in, and it's a beautiful night out, and the sun's kind of coming down over the Florida coast, and I'm watching the highlights from the previous day, and all there's music and people, the buzz in the stadium was palpable, was absolutely incredible. I'm standing there going, man, the hairs on the back of my neck, I understand, this is really cool, and I feel a hand come on my shoulder, and I look down, and all I can see was a huge 1993 Super Bowl championship ring. I turn around to my other side, it was Jimmy Johnson. He had no idea who I was. He just saw me standing in front of him. And he's like, hey, look around. He's like, this is what it's all about.
Is he a physical therapist?
What's that?
Is he a physical therapist?
No. He's not a physical therapist. He needs one now because I don't guarantee he doesn't have any cartilage in his knees. But he just sat and said, this is what it's all about. I was like, you know what? That's exactly what it's all about. And this, I tell you what, the amount of work and the amount of time and effort they put into that is absolutely incredible. But I ask my students, why do you want to go into sports physical therapy? That's what I do. Why do you want to do sports medicine? Because athletes are more motivated than older patients. Absolutely false. That's absolutely false. I have 70, 80, 90-year-old patients that are 10 times more motivated than any football players that I've ever worked with. They're more motivated so they can get up and move and walk around with their grandkids and their great-grandkids. 10 times more. 10 times more. So if you ask me who I prefer to work with, I prefer to work with people that are slightly older than people in this room. Because I know you guys are all young in your mid-60s.
You're talking about the 80s.
So this is what, if you don't know, and how many people have ever been to see a physical therapist? Have seen a physical therapist. Okay, so you guys know what I'm talking about. So we're not physical therapists. We don't have a hood over my head. So this is a pretty neat cartoon. This is what my friends think I do. I don't know we don't use parallel bars. Not my setting. This is what my mom thinks I do. Okay, she thinks I'm saving the world. Thank God for that. But she also doesn't take any advice I give her or my dad, because I can't get over the fact that I accidentally set my sister's hair on fire when we were 12. So they don't really take my advice. This is what society thinks I do. Patients come in and want to get a massage. That's not what we do. This is what my patients think we do, right, Nick? So working you over, right? Oh yeah, this is part of what we do. This is what I think I do. We get the hands on and really try to restore movement. And this is what I really do, is try to deal with all the paperwork. We just went live on an electronic medical record 2 weeks ago, so we're starting to get a little bit better at how we handle our documentation. For those of you that haven't been to our website, this is our OSU Sports Medicine. We also work with our athletic training partners in athletics, we have a lot of talented researchers and physicians and physical therapists and athletic trainers to provide exceptional care to a lot of the athletes that we see and also non-athletes as well. We're in a very antiquated space right now, but we're moving into a new institute. This is the Jameson Crane Institute. It's a $40 million facility that's going to be state-of-the-art. It's going to be world-renowned. When we asked the Crane family what they wanted this architecture to look like, they said they wanted to be world-class. Nobody in the world is going to have this until they can raise more money and build it. So this should be completed. This should be completed in 2016. So we haven't broken ground yet. They don't do it in the next 2 weeks. I'm going to go over and start doing it for them. It'll be on the corner of Ackerman and Fred Taylor, which is on where the RV parking lot is right now. and a little green space over there. So just some of the things that we do with our research. We have two biodynamics labs that are state-of-the-art that are able to measure motion and depict it in graphs that you see below. We also do motion analysis, especially with ACLs. If you guys know about the ACL, the anterior cruciate ligament, which is a ligament in knee that a lot, especially female athletes, tear. We're truly trying to figure out how we can prevent that from happening. But we also work with a lot of endurance athletes and weekend warriors and do a lot of education. So this is some of the things that we do. I told you about touching. This is a little bit awkward for this patient, but this is what needs to get done. Sometimes we deal with a lot of hip patients, so you just have to be a professional and make sure the athlete knows and patient knows what you're doing. But it's all hands-on. You know, we do a lot of corrective interventions. We do a lot of hands-on interventions. It takes time and skill to be able to do it right. And so we practice as much as we can to try to get patients better faster and to keep people moving. And that's the key. Sometimes it feels like this. Sometimes it feels like this. I treat patients. I'm like, you know what? I'm really getting good outcomes. I'm the best physical therapist in the world, and the wheels fall off the bus. Because the human body, as you know, is a very complex and finicky machine. And sometimes it breaks down, and sometimes you don't know why. And so I can have great days, but sometimes I look at that. I have a 14-year-old daughter that would definitely do this right now. She eats dirt and cat food for some reason, but we're working on that. But most days, this is what I feel like, and this is what we do. So we're in a team atmosphere, and it's incredibly satisfying to really get patients to achieve their goals, especially when they don't think that they can. And to alleviate someone's pain which is similar to what you guys do in the Rotary Club, is a special place. And I tell you what, working with athletes is really good. One group of athletes that I work with most often that I really enjoy is the Special Olympic athletes. And so if you've ever worked Special Olympics, if you don't walk away from a Special Olympics event and not feeling like your heart is 14 times better than when you went in, then you don't have a soul. And those kids are absolutely crazy, incredible. And if you get an athlete that has Down syndrome and they hug you, best huggers in the world. It's an absolutely incredible feeling. And so these are the athletes that we are privileged to work with in sports medicine, and we will continue to work with professional athletes and local college athletes on a daily basis. So right now we have about 5 NFL football players in there getting treated for various injuries, and so they're from Columbus. They went to Ohio State. They want to be in town, so we'll treat them and we'll send them back to their teams. Yes, sir.
Sports medicine athletes. How did you get Mick as a patient?
There's a little sport athlete in all of us, but if you can't be an athlete, you can be an athletic supporter. And Nick was the latter, so we let him come in. So this is the educational part, okay? So this table right here, I want you to think about 60. Just think about the number 60 in your head, okay? You guys got it? Okay. And this table right back here, can you think about the numbers 3 to 5? Okay? So when I ask you, I want you to regurgitate that for me. 60 and 3 to 5. Okay, you ready? So this is why I'm here. Because not moving is bad. All right? I tell patients that we're sharks. If patients stop moving, bad things are going to happen. This is Carotene capture. What fits your busy schedule better? Exercising 1 hour a day or being dead 24 hours a day? So we have to move. We have to move. And why is that important? Well, if we don't move, we're not going to last. And there's a study that just came out a couple of years ago that said if you're going to reduce 2 years off of your life if you increase your time sitting for 3 hours a day. So a lot of times it's avoidable with work, but getting up and moving around is really important. Now some patients would argue with me and say they don't want the last 2 years anyway. But I would tell you, those last 2 years and the years of all of our lives, which is inevitable, it will be better and healthier and happier if we move. And we move. We don't have to run marathons. We don't have to compete in Ironman, but just simply getting up and walking for a certain period of time. How many minutes should we do it a day?
60.
How many days a week?
3 to 5.
You better believe it. And it's just walking. It's just being active. And so that's really important. And it's not important just for the joints. It's important for all these conditions. So diabetes, stress, cardiovascular disease, kidney disease, chronic pain syndromes all benefit from exercise. And this is what we really advocate is exercise as medicine. So we're trying to use exercise to prevent diseases, so you don't have to rely on the medications. All right? Sometimes medications are needed and we have to use exercise, but this is what it's about. Now, we also say food is exercise, right? So the food I just ate was not very good exercise for me, but it's delicious. So it's, but I tell you what, if you incorporate a little bit of exercise in your life and some, it's not diet. Diet's a bad word. It's a four-letter word we want to talk about. Just some lifestyle modifications. So we were working with Kevin Green one time with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's like, hey, I want to eat a piece of pie before I play. Like, you can eat a piece of pie, that's fine. Just don't eat the whole pie. So just cut it back a little bit. All right. So again, the biggest thing I want to emphasize to you today is try to be preventative. Get up and exercise. It can be very small. We tell patients to exercise at a conversational rate, meaning that you should be able to walk with somebody and have a conversation. If you're doing that, it's too much. It's too much. And if you have a heart problem, talk to your doctor. So you make sure that it's safe for you to do so. So anyway, how many minutes a day?
60.
How many days a week?
5.
Absolutely. Okay. Thank you very much for your time. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you guys have, and I appreciate the invitations.
Does gardening count?
Gardening counts, absolutely. Gardening, anything that's going to get your heart rate up. Now you may need to do a little bit longer, but gardening is activity. Absolutely.
What are your thoughts about sort of alternative medicine, acupuncture, and things like that?
There's a place for everything. We still are. Now, acupuncture's been around for thousands of years. There's something to it. There's actually studies and literature that support the benefits of acupuncture. I do dry needling. So I would take an acupuncture needle and I would insert it to a trigger point. And a trigger point is a little area in the muscle that's a localized spasm to try to release it. Acupuncture, massage, holistic medicine definitely has a place. We need more research to figure out what parameters that are surrounding those interventions make the most difference in people's lives. But it's traditional medicine combined with holistic or Eastern medicine, I think is very important. So they definitely have a place to be effective and beneficial. The number one predictor of patient outcome is patient expectations too. So if the patient expects that it's going to get them better, placebo effect is 30% of what anybody does in healthcare. If the patient believes in it, they get better. We're not sure exactly why, but there's been a lot of studies to show that.
There's a very negative article in the paper either yesterday or today about the professional football players with a lawsuit against the NFL for overuse of drugs. Do you, when you have somebody that comes in for physical therapy, talk to them about not using drugs to heal themselves?
Absolutely, and that's what our doctors want to talk to us. That's what our doctor physicians want us to talk to the patient about as well. And so the physicians only get about 5-10 minutes with the patient. I spend 45 minutes to an hour with the patient 2-3 times a week. So I build up a really strong relationship with the patient, and those are the conversations that we have. Sometimes medications are needed. A lot of times alternative interventions are what's required, and that's exercise. I don't want people, because we know that if you're on anti-inflammatories, or if you're on Tylenol for a long period of time, that's not good for bone healing. And so we really try to correct the impairments, limit the pain, increase function so people don't have to rely on anti-inflammatories to get through the day. And that's important. A lot of times we can do that. Sometimes we have to have surgery in order to help us to achieve that. So with advanced osteoarthritis, I can give you, if you have bone on bone, I can give you all the greatest exercises in the world. You're still going to have bone on bone. So sometimes we have to go through surgery, and then we get you the PT to correct the strength and the mobility to keep you active. But that's what we do, try to keep you moving.
One final question. Does your practice include any of the new fitness tracking technology, or do those things play a role in physical therapy today?
They certainly do. So, like the Fitbits and stuff like that. Yeah. So we don't have Fitbits in our practice right now, but we will. We're going to be jumpstarting an initiative called Healthy New Albany. It's a collaboration between Children's Hospital, OSU Sports Medicine, the City of New Albany, a research group out of San Francisco. And what we're going to do is go through a healthy tracks where they'll get screened, and based on their numbers, they'll either go through a musculoskeletal screen, a cardiovascular screen program, and then we're going to track them. We're going to track them to see where they're at, where they start, and where they finish, and then 10, 20 years down the road, do they maintain those gains? And so we're going to be using a lot more technology, and because technology is ever evolving, we're going to be using that more and more, and we're going to rely on that more and more to make sure that we measure progress. That'll be important. getting patients better faster is key, and we have to be able to prove that, and we're doing a lot of research to try to identify what's the most effective treatment possible in the quickest amount of time possible, and most importantly, in today's healthcare society, what's the cheapest way to do it.
Great. Let's express our appreciation.
Thank you very much.
John, it may please you to know that we will be donating a book in your name to one of the schools where our members tutor from time to time.
Absolutely.
Thanks for coming out.
Thank you very much.
Okay.